So we will start with a brief presentation. We are Drumloika and Associates, the civil engineers for the project of the estates of Aisquith Farm, Section 2, minor subdivision. And this is a modification pre-submittal community meeting. So the way the meeting will run is essentially Mr. Evans here with Drumloika. He will provide a presentation, and during that presentation, we wish that everyone mute themselves so that it's easier to hear him, as well as hold all questions until he's finished with this presentation, and then we'll open the forum to questions and comments.
Everybody good?
Yep.
Okay. This meeting from Monday, July 11th, 2022 at 6 o'clock. It's a virtual meeting on the Uber conference that Drumloika has set up. The project name is the Estates of Aisquith Farm, Section 2. Property is located at the intersection of Homewood Road, Delaware, Riva, and the Waterford subdivision open space to the north. The purpose of this meeting is Anne Arundel County Subdivision and Development Regulations is a community meeting is required to present the property owner's intent to file for a modification to the code to disturb the buffer to the environment sensitive feature. In this case, it's the 100-foot stream buffer. The property owners within 300 feet from the subject property boundary were notified of this meeting that is required prior to the filing an application for the modification to Anne Arundel County Code, Section 17-6-402, development within a 100-foot stream buffer to the stream. The purpose of this meeting is for the developer to provide information regarding the project and to respond to questions and comments. So I just want to give everyone a heads up. I think it was about a year ago in February that we had our last subdivision community meeting. The plan layout is pretty much identical. Or when we had that last subdivision meeting, we had our step pool design that takes runoff to the open space in Waterford to the north of the property underneath Homewood Road. And we had been working with the Anne Arundel County Department of Public Works because there's an existing eroded condition out there in that HOA Homewood Road, Waterford open space. There's an eroded channel. All the runoff that comes down Homewood Road has created an erosion situation north of our site. Obviously, we haven't started construction or anything. That DPW asked us to look at. DPW standing for the Maryland Department of Public or Anne Arundel County Department of Public Works. And I'm gonna share my screen to show where we are in the world and where that is. But I just want to let you know from a subdivision standpoint, the layout you should have seen last February. It's working through all the issues with developing this step pool as a solution to help with this erosion issue that is garnered this new community meeting and the modification request. So I'm going to share my screen now, and I just need you guys to nod and acknowledge that hopefully that you can see the plan on the screen. Can everybody see that subdivision plan? Looks like Douglas can. I'm hoping Doug and Linda can.
Yes, we can.
Everybody else. So with my cursor, this is Homewood Road coming down. Delaware then runs north-south to the cul-de-sac. Our 10-lot subdivision is on the old lot 15R or 15 of Aisquith Farm, and the step pool outfall is to the north of Homewood Road in the area of wooded open space for Waterford. So the county approached us as we were working with them on our design for our subdivision because there's an existing eroded swale that drainage comes off of Homewood Road north of where the bituminous curve is and the first Waterford homes are, enters the woods line, and with the sandy soil in this area has created this rut or head cut as they call it that runs down through the subdivision. So I'm going to do a little description that I have to read as part of this meeting, and then I'll go into some pictures of the situation of this rut. But I wanted to get you the design on the screen so as I'm talking, everyone could see it. So I'm going to slide back up to the top here for a second. And this is our subdivision. In this area to the right where my cursor is for these two houses, lot 9 and 10, across Homewood Road is the area where our step pool design is and where the rut is. So the purpose of this subdivision meeting, the development of the right-of-way, the project is known as the Estates of Aisquith Farms Section 2 to subdivide Lot 15R of the Estates of Aisquith Farms Sections 2 into 10 single-family lots. The development includes right-of-way dedication as well as public water and sewer improvements and off-site stormwater management to mitigate site outfall 1, which is where the step pools are going and where the eroded swale is located, including the open space and rec area and frontage improvements. The specific site subject area of this meeting is the discussion of the developer's intent to construct a stormwater management step pool conveyance system for the existing eroded stormwater management outfall. So I'm going to slide back down to the step pool plan. First, in the existing condition, there's an existing 15-inch squashed 15-inch pipe right to the, looking at my north arrow, to the east of the big mansion house that's at the top of the hill, which is lot 1R of Aisquith, or of
The Estates of Aisquith.
Estates of Aisquith Farm. And there's a little 15-inch, there's a sump area on the south side of Homewood Road that currently drains drainage area, but a majority of the water comes straight out to Homewood Road and runs along that north side and then enters the woods here. And you can see these curved contours is where that head cut has begun to form in the existing conditions. And so I'm going to scroll back down to our plan, just so this is a zoom in of that area where the eroded swale comes through this site and where we've designed our system. Specifically, this meeting has discussed that existing head cut issue and the proposed developments of offsite improvements in conjunction with the subdivision of Lot 15R Estates of Aisquith Farm. So the tax accounts involved are 102-6900-7457, 102-6900-74-965, and 125-690-222-527. It's Task District 1, Council District 7, the Honorable Jessica Hare, County Council person for that district, tax map 55, Block 10, Parcel 323. The zoning in this area is R1 residential with 1 dwelling unit per 1 acre area. So the site itself where the subdivision is going is not in the critical area, but the step pool conveyance system is within the critical area. So I'm going to slide up here just to show everyone that as I'm talking. The critical area line, here's our subdivision. This thick dash line here where you see, or I'm sorry, this thin line, it says RCA, not critical area, is about midway through the open space of Waterford open space C is where the critical area line forms. So the upper part of our step pool conveyance system is not in the critical area, but as you get closer to the stream and 100 feet of the stream, as we're trying to take this eroded water, stabilize it, and take it to the stream itself in a more stabilized fashion, we do enter the RCA critical area and the 100-foot to the existing stream up from Beards Creek. So the site is currently served by public water and sewer. We're extending public water and sewer where it ends right now at Delaware and Homewood, up Homewood Road to the end of our property to serve our 2 lots there and for potential future service of the lots, the big mansion house above us. The schools in this area are Davidsville Elementary, which is currently closed, Central Middle open, South River High open. The school impact project was on a 6-year waiting list, probably about 8 years ago now, and came off that waiting list, which allowed us to move forward. We're in the final plan phase of the project status. We were trying to work through these final details when the County Planning and Zoning Office. We've been working with the Office of Inspection and Permits and DPW to design the step pool to help cure that eroded system. Came back and said that we needed a modification to the code to disturb within 100 feet of the stream buffer for the project to do the repair and create the step pool design, which is why we're having this meeting tonight. In our last subdivision meeting back in February of last year, we talked about the latest developments of the housing and everything in the road and the step pool design, but at the time we didn't talk about potential to need a modification to the 100-foot buffer to actually build the step pools that the county has been working with us on. So planning and zoning reminded us of that, and so that's why we're having this community meeting tonight, to have a pre-file community meeting before we file our modification for that 100-foot buffer mod request. The associated subdivision project number is S 2012-059. The developer is Coke Homes. The development received sketch approval in September of 2013. At that time, the schools were in the associated districts were not open, requiring that the final subdivision plan be held in abeyance until they were open. Allocation of all public facilities were deemed adequate with the sketch approval. Those schools opened March 2019, and so final plan was submitted in January of 2020. The developer has been working with Waterford Homeowners Association for the step pool conveyance system easement and agreement and shared right-of-way maintenance agreements. As a result of the recent final plan review comments generated by the Office of Planning and Zoning, a wetlands delineation for the performance by the project's environmental consultant, Wetland Studies, a wetlands study was requested or required by the Office of Planning and Zoning because they had in their notes and county data that there were wetlands near this area where we are doing our improvements. Mike Labosco of, let's see, I'm sorry, I apologize. Wetland Studies and Solutions, Inc. Was hired to go out, and he did a wetland study of the area where the step pool is outfalling down near the stream, and determined there were two pocket wetland areas to the northwest and northeast of our site, but that our site and its limited disturbance did not encroach upon those two small pocket wetland areas. So we have submitted an exhibit to the county as part of his evaluation, and I'm going to go back to that bigger plan page just to show you guys that exhibit. So I'm going to zoom in here. So the step pool conveyance system is a series of bays that hold water in a waterfall-like effect that collect the water from the head wall, settling it, taking the energy out of it, and working its way down in a cascade-like fashion down till you get to the actual stream embankment. The areas of the pocket wetlands, the stream is here, the center point here, this double line here, it depicts the stream. The pocket wetlands was one group, was here to the, I guess, would you say the south or southeast of the stream itself in this area here, and you see the 25-foot buffer in the dash line there. And then another pocket was found on the north side or northwest side, and the 25-foot buffer to that pocket was depicted on the plan. Our LOD and our easements through the property are all between those two pocket wetlands in the area where the actual head cut is and the erosion is. So we are not disturbing non-tidal wetlands as part of our development. We are, however, disturbing the 100-foot stream buffer, which is this thick dash line here that runs from the stream up into the woods. This is the area of woods, and I don't know those who are present, that several years ago a tornado came down within that open space valley and knocked over a bunch of existing large trees in that area, creating a slightly, like if you were to look at this site 5 years ago, it looked all wooded. Now, if you look at the site, you can see all the, on the aerial photo, you can see all the laydowns from those trees that were basically ripped open and knocked down as part of that tornado. So in the existing condition, in the vicinity of the tributary stream of Reeves Creek, which has that 100-foot buffer, we are disturbing, there is disturbance within the stream buffer to construct this conveyance system that we worked with the Department of Public Works and Inspection and Permits to design to handle that existing head cut. And I'm just gonna see if I can share some photos of that area with you while I'm talking, so that I think to help you guys get a feel for what that looks like. Oh, it's not going to let me do that, is it? I may share photos a little bit later. Right now, I don't want to. If I get out of this thing, I think I'm gonna lose my connection with you all. But basically, the head cut starts about 30 or 40 feet in from the edge of Homewood Road, and then just gets deeper and deeper. It's like a foot deep up here near the top. And then by the time you get at the bend here where we show it, where the stream erosion bends around, it's 3, 4, 5 feet deep that cuts through here, that it is just eroded through this area. So the step pool design will allow us to basically, and I'm going to show you a profile of that, it allows us to pick up that head cut and these pools and create basically energy dissipating pools that'll help slow the water down and dissipate it and slowly cascade down till we get to the flatter area at the bottom where the stream is. There's a large flat area to the south of the stream, and then about 100 feet in, or probably about 50 or 60 feet in, it starts the steeper area of slopes, and that's where you see that eroded area. So the limited disturbance for our design is entirely outside. We're stopping our disturbance. If I zoom in here on the stream itself is here. The embankment comes up in a steep embankment and then levels off here. So we're bringing our grades down, and then this is an area of riprap at the end of our last pool to help stabilize all this runoff coming down in that existing gut before it ever gets to the stream. As I said, I mentioned earlier, the 2 non-tidal wetlands areas that the county planning and zoning office was concerned about are outside of our limited of disturbance. We had those field located by a professional wetlands scientist, and then we went out with a survey crew and located those wetlands and then delineated where the 25-foot buffers would be. These wetlands have a 25-foot buffer. There's the tree canopy in this area. Existing mature hardwoods are present in the area of the step pool conveyance system, many of which had been brought down by the tornado. The proposed offsite woodland clearing of the remaining tree canopy for the outfall and step pool conveyance system is approximately 14,115, much of which of that canopy has already been knocked down by the tornadoes. Reforestation is proposed on site of our actual subdivision. Let's go back up to the top here for a second. This entire area to the north of our site is a big empty meadow with a single 42-inch hardwood specimen tree in the middle of that field. We are reforesting or afforestation all in this upper area here between us and the mansion house above us. So this whole area will be replanted. And then in addition to that, as part of the step pool conveyance system, there's a lot of planting that will go on along the edge of the pools themselves on both the east and west sides. And then the county has asked us as part of this design to have a mulch access path so they'll be able to get down and maintenance this pool as part of its overall development over the years. So we have this mulch access path, not asphalt, not concrete. It's a mulch access path, and there'll be more planting in the area where we're disturbing to grade out the path and the step pools to help stabilize this area. The wetlands delineation and its buffers and the proposed limit disturbance have all been adjusted to make sure we stay out of. As our wetland consultant asked us to try and stay out of the stream itself, so we pulled things back here to do just that, but we still have to outfall to the stream to convey the water. If we stop 30 feet short, it's just going to erode out down to the stream the rest of the way. So we're taking our conveyance to the top of the embankment of the stream. Disturbance within the 100-foot buffer, which is what this modification is required for, is not possible to build these step pools to solve this erosion issue without going into the stream buffer, which is why we need to apply for this buffer to the 100-foot buffer to be able to construct this all the way down to the thing. And so planning and zoning has required this modification, which is why we're here tonight. So that is my base presentation. I'm going to try, while you guys unmute yourself, to look questions to see if I can get the pictures to show up without disconnecting me from the meeting itself.
Okay.
No.
I'm sorry, did you say you're fielding questions now?
Yes, sir.
Well, I guess to start, I actually work for DPW in the Bureau of Watershed Restoration.
Okay, great.
So I'm very familiar with. What's that?
Did I say anything incorrectly?
No. I was skeptical of this when I first heard about it, without seeing the plans, but I'm very happy that this step pool system's going in. Just want to ask a couple questions about the species list as far as reforestation.
I'm sorry, the question's about
the species list for reforestation. Do you have that?
Deb Schwab is our landscape architect for the project. So in this area, I'm going to see if I can zoom in here, and we can also include, this should be, if you're with DPW, hopefully you've gotten a copy of this. This planting hasn't changed since our last submittal, but I can also try and get you, as I zoom in, it seems to be getting a little blurrier. I apologize to that, but I believe Deb knows her native versus, non-native species well. I don't know, Lisette, ultimately, if I stop sharing, if it would be easier for you to try and share, if you think you can zoom in on that list better. Right now, I'm using a PDF of the thing. Go ahead.
I think my wife has a hard copy of this that she got in the mail. So maybe I'll look at that, and if I have any questions.
Yeah, and worst case scenario, and that's one of the reasons we get the email addresses of everyone. We mail out meeting minutes and address questions, but we can also email PDFs of the plans to anyone, Doug and Linda, Cynthia, or any of them. I will warn you that like one specific sheet is not a bad email as far as size. If I try and email you all 24 sheets, it's like 150 meg drawing. We can try and zip it down, but I can specifically send sheets pretty easily. They're much smaller. It's just the conglomerate of 24 sheets that makes that email slightly bigger. But like we can do a 8.5 by 11 zoom in of the species list to make it easier to read. I can see it, but as I zoom in, at least for me, I'm assuming it's the same on your screen.
Yeah, it's
pretty small.
Yeah,
Tough to see.
It's tough to see.
I'm sorry, Doug and Linda, did you guys have a question?
I do have a question. It talks about the step pool being on the frontage, having frontage on both Della and Homewood.
I'm sorry if that's poorly. It only has frontage on Homewood.
So
where the step pools are being created only has frontage on Homewood. I'm gonna go up to the very cover sheet, which has the design. So the intersection of Della and Homewood is down here.
Right.
The step pools are up around the bend. If you know the area, the existing bituminous curb ends about here, and then it's just open section road as you head up Homewood towards the driveway that gets you access to the lot 1R mansion house.
Correct.
So the erosion, the old 15-inch pipe is right here.
Okay.
And the erosion is, if you go in through the woods, there's a little opening there from time to time. when the brush hasn't grown up.
Exactly.
If you go in there and walk into the woods about 30 feet, you'll start to see it's flat up here at the top, but as you work your way northwest, all of a sudden you'll see that head cut. And I have pictures when it was pouring down raining, and you can see the path of the water coming through the woods. But I fear that if I try and bring them up right now, it's gonna log me out. But I can also include them in the
We
thing.
certainly understand because we're in the block of Escapade Circle, and we actually, we almost look at the mansion house. We're in the one, I think it's 162 to 1, the houses that it covers. Hold on for a moment. Well, darn, where is it?
We back up basically to our corner of our townhouse butts up almost on the backside of Delaware.
Not quite that far, but
No.
we're just
Oh,
almost
the
there.
backside
Yes.
of Delaware. Okay, so you're a little further down.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
so
Yeah,
so
so-
that townhouse group, it's not really sort of not positioned exactly where we are. We're up there a little bit more, I would believe, right? Don't you
It's
think?
close,
Doug?
yeah.
Yeah. So we're wondering
Shows up on
right now, we already get a ton of water coming down our hill. So we're just wondering, is that going to help us as well, or is this going to make it
So
worse?
to answer that question, I believe absolutely, because right now water comes off this whole upper hill here and
Yeah.
drains down Della out of this driveway. This little 15-inch pipe that's currently there now is squashed. If you've ever walked up along this road, you can it's hard to even find it because the grass is so high. And
Yeah. I know what you're talking
it's our observations when we were out there and doing our topo and location that
Mhm.
very little bit of water actually gets into this little 15-inch pipe.
Yeah.
Everything
We'll
comes
attest to
down-
that.
Everything comes down from this mansion house. Let's see if I think I have a pretty decent drainage area map here.
Mhm.
Go up to the top and actually read my own legend. I can probably find this a little faster.
It's a little tough to see, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little tough to see. I was trying to find my drainage area map, my overall
Sheet
drainage
10.
area map.
Sheet 10.
Okay. So that's sheet 6. I'm going to slide down here a little faster. There we go.
Aha, that's better there.
That's sheet 11, sheet 12.
10.
There you go. So right now, all this water comes way up from the top, even beyond the mansion house and to lots above it, and drains down Homewood Road here. And then this area here, in theory, was going to that 15-inch. A lot of this was going to that 15-inch culvert. It couldn't handle it, so it was topping over the road anyway.
Mhm.
And then continuing down to where the bituminous curb is, and it's not curb and gutter, it's bituminous curb, and it's hopping over. And I have a picture, I guess the opening here, that I guess Waterford has come up with some little diversion, little berm type things along where there's like a path down towards these end units here, to try and push it around this end unit and down. And so right now, all this water is coming down the road, coming down that, and basically crossing where there's no bituminous curb. It's going straight into the woods. Where there is bituminous curb, it's ponding down here at the lower end. Then finally, when it gets high enough, it tops that bituminous curb and then comes down towards these units and around. And so with our design, we are basically we're adding inlets up here at the top, right behind our units, bringing them all, another inlet here and a stormwater management device, and bringing it all to a head wall here, so that instead of this water, I mean, there's still going to be sheet flow coming down Homewood Road that's going to go into this area and get into some of these top step pools. Let's go back. What did I say? Sheet 9 in my plan. There we go. There's a certain amount of water that's still going to sheet flow off of Homewood Road across there and actually get into these pools, these top couple of pools. But a lot of the rest of the water that is affecting Waterford right now is going to be picked up by our storm drain systems and brought to this head wall. So we're basically diverting all that water that is or much of that water. Let's go back down to that drainage area map. And we're bringing it to a actual designed system. What did I say it was? Sheet. There it is. So right now we're capturing it all in inlets here and here and here, and we have curb and gutter on our side that has a throat opening. It's going to come in that throat opening here. So a lot of the water coming down here that then super elevates and goes across is going to be picked up along this line here and taken through these step pools and managed that way, which is going to take a lot of pressure off the water that right now is nothing stopping it and gets to that bituminous curb and hops over. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It does make sense. Will there be a curb on the Waterford side as a result of this?
There's an existing bituminous curb there now, and we're basically taking the pressure off of that bituminous curb by what we're picking up. Doug, does that?
It's a very small curb that really doesn't deter anything at all, to be honest.
And that's why by us adding all these inlets and the step pool design, we're going to basically take from these drainage areas. I thought they were on this plan, but it's a lot of acreage that we are picking up that right now isn't getting picked up and going straight to that bituminous curb. We're picking it up and conveying it through the step pool to the stream.
Okay.
Now, another question that I had is, so it's really affecting the townhomes, like, well, especially our little row of 6 homes, but then the ones that are right adjacent to us, I think it's 3201 on down, because they're literally back up to this, and the water comes down a hill and hits the back of those townhomes. And I don't know about the ones up the hill on Escapade Circle. I'm not so sure what goes on, what they have, but they have a greater amount of woods than we have where we are. Are you going to be widening the road from our side or from, I call it the mansion side?
From the mansion side.
From the mansion
side. So on the
side.
mansion side, we are widening and we're creating. So right now the road is super elevated and sheet flows over to that bituminous curb. Super elevated meaning it's all angled, one way. Normal roads are crowned. And so we're redoing all the pavement from Delaware up to the end of our lot to crown the road. And then we're so we're going to have curb and gutter along our south side of Homewood and a curb opening to a stormwater management area. So this curb cut is here. So we're repaving this whole area to actually crown the road so that the south side of Homewood Road, instead of being super elevated to the north side, we're crowning it and bringing all that water in and picking it up so that only the Waterford side of Homewood Road in the area of our development the crown part of it will still go to that side, but that's a normal design as a crown road. Right now it's super elevated, so we're crowning it on our side to bring the water from the south side of the center line of Homewood back to our site through our curb cuts to our inlet structure, and then piping it through to the step pool. Hopefully that answers that question.
I think so. I think so. You mentioned earlier as well, what does shared maintenance mean? Shared cost of maintenance mean?
So right now, Coke has been working. Homewood Road itself is a private road that services the estates of Aisquith Farm. It is part of the it's a private road. In other words, it's not a county road. It's not
correct.
So there is maintenance responsibility from the different developments that abut Homewood Road to itself, and there's maintenance agreements that Waterford has for themselves. Della Estates of Aisquith Farm had for themselves for Della and their portion of Homewood down here next to their open space in lot 1. And then we have our new lots and our HOA maintenance. So all these different communities abut Homewood Road. And so Coke has been working to consolidate them into one maintenance thing for Homewood Road instead of Delaware having, or Waterford just maintaining their side, and the Aisquith Farms maintaining their side, and then the Koch maintaining the south side of this. They're trying to get together and organize with the HOAs to have a maintenance agreement where everybody's HOA part of their HOA dues are covering the improvements, and so that when there needs to be additional improvements on Homewood Road, it's a shared maintenance agreement. So the attorneys for Waterford and Koch have been working through the design, and the Estates of Aisquith Farm Section 1 have been working to come up with maintenance agreements. We have a shared use of Della with the Estates Section 1, and then we have a shared roof where the Estates has this portion of Homewood that they're have responsibilities for. Waterford has responsibilities for Homewood, where it goes all the way down to the, I guess that would be east, where it intersects with the first public road, and through here. And so Koch is trying to organize to have so that everybody can it's one document that is working through the maintenance, not just 3 different homeowners with their own maintenance agreements.
Well, I mean, yes, because this could be, I mean, let's face it, if road work needs to be done, it could be pretty expensive, and we could be saddled with, you know, big additional costs to our dues. So that frightens me, because road work is not inexpensive, as you all know. And I just want to make sure, because the way I read this is that, you know, one of the letters that I read, and I don't know if it was from my own homeowners association, but, you know, the townhomes really enjoy using that road. Well, are we going to put a gate up so that the other homes in Waterford can't use it? Or, you know, what do we do here? I mean, I think everyone needs to share it, not just Waterford homeowners, townhomes, but everyone in Waterford needs to share the expense.
Right. And so Koch obviously is adding 10 lots to the
Homewood.
people paying dues. So that's 10 more homeowners that are going to be contributing to the maintenance fund, the overall maintenance fund. But I know the reason that we last met in February is for the last year, there's been a lot of negotiations. The layout and lots haven't changed much. We've gotten comments from INP and DPW and tried to address them as far as the overall subdivision and the step pool design. And we got to a point where we don't have any more comments from INP's Brad Bodman or anyone that I know of, Douglas, I'm sorry, Mr. Griffin, as far as DPW is concerned, on the step pool design. But when you've got a county, just to kind of clarify this even more, so the Waterford has an open space C that is this first thin line here up to Homewood Road. And then they have a separate open space for a different section of Waterford that is C. It's like B and C or K and C. And then this thin line here, Anne Arundel County has an existing public stormwater management agreement or stormwater management easement that controls the last 50 feet to the stream, and then on the other side of it, that's on the Waterford plat. And so we have Anne Arundel County, which, you know, maybe not for this meeting, but Doug is part of the DPW that I guess has a lot of the easement responsibilities for all this stormwater management, ultimately that leads down to the big pond south or northeast of this stream and past all your townhouses. There's a big pond.
Right.
I'm sorry. And so there's a big county public easement for that. So we worked with INP and DPW to design these step pools, but we're crossing, when we leave Homewood Road, this is not Koch land. This is not Aisquith Estates land. This is Waterford HOA open space, Waterford HOA open space 2, and Anne Arundel County public stormwater management easement. So we had to work through all that to try and work out what we're doing and getting this design approved. So that's what Koch's been working on with both Estates of Aisquith Farms HOA for all our road maintenance on Della and Homewood, and then Waterford HOAs on this potential easement that we have to get from Waterford to fix this eroded stream and have our outfall. And it's taken a year.
I'm sure it has. And, you know, the one thing about it is, you know, we couldn't ask for a better builder to be building back there, for sure. I mean, there'll be beautiful homes, and it can't be anything but advantageous to all of the people that live here. I mean, they've got a great reputation. They build a beautiful home. So all I'm saying is that we also love our homes. And as long as we're not affected adversely, I think it's fabulous. But I want it to be fair to everyone, not the ones that can afford to have the big attorneys and take care of everything. I don't, because we're in a townhome, clearly it's because we choose to be here and we love it because it's quiet and peaceful, and you don't feel like you're in a townhome community. Many of us have come from big, large homes, and it was time to, scale back. So I'm saying that I'm excited to look outside and see beautiful homes. I'm excited to see wonderful children running around and all those good things. But at the same token, I want to be sure that I don't have to lose the pride of my home. And I want our homes and our neighborhood to still be beautiful too. And I don't want it to be affected by, horrible things, big expenses. And it sounds to me, though, is that you guys are really doing what you can do to make it a better place.
And let me just, I'm not sure if I said this and if I missed it, but this easement that we're doing in this step pool design is going to be we're creating a public easement for this step pool design. So, and Douglas may interrupt me if I'm wrong, but once it's built and the county has reviewed it, inspected it, and said it's built to their specifications, then the county will have the maintenance responsibility for the step pools for that. So from that perspective, that doesn't change Homewood Road and any maintenance responsibilities for Homewood or Della. But as far as the step pool conveyance, your HOA dollars aren't going to be going to maintain it because it will be within a public easement.
Okay.
It will take as-built and certification and approval by DPW that it was built, to their standards. But once that's been accepted into the public system, then the maintenance responsibility of the step pools themselves will be DPW.
So is this the same pool? Is it connected to the I don't know if it's a step down pool or just a reservoir that they put at the bottom of Homewood? I think when it crosses Anglesey, and there's one right over there as well, and that's all fenced in, for safety reasons, I guess.
You mean further north? You mean further north for the Stone Ridge community?
No. It's the Cambria community. It's right at the bottom. It's not even to the bottom of Homewood. It's at Homewood and Anglesey.
Right. Yeah.
I believe that's just a stormwater pond.
I was going to say that's a storm. So Cambria, if you go up Homewood Road, most of Cambria is on the south side. There's a few lots that border the right side. Then where Anglesey comes into Homewood is Stone Ridge, and that runs all the way up to Riva through Connecting Road there, if I remember correctly.
It does go to Riva, correct.
Right. I worked on that subdivision 20-some years ago. And so that's a stormwater management pond at the bottom of Anglesey and Homewood. So that treats all their stormwater management for all those. I can't remember how many lots that it is up there off the top of my head, but I think there's like 30 lots up there. That treats all their stormwater management. That subdivision was done pre-ESD to the MEP and micro practices. So back then they were still doing large ponds. Our new subdivision design here is falls under the new criteria where it's a lot of micro practices. Each lot is going to have their own rain gardens and dry wells to manage most of the on-site water. And then we have a small facility here in the open space here. And then we have our step pool conveyance, which can be a combination of stormwater conveyance, which is storm drainage, but also a bit of also treatment, stormwater management volume wise. And so in today's world, you don't have big ponds anymore, like the one If you follow the stream further east
Mhm.
to the big pond there, in today's subdivision design, we don't have big ponds anymore, at least not on the ones I've worked on. It's all micro practices. I've got some with 8 to 10 microbiome retentions throughout the open spaces, and then each lot has their own devices. You don't see and won't see, I don't anticipate any more big stormwater management ponds unless the regulations change in the near future.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds great. So can you point out with your cursor exactly where the open space is going to be? I think it's at the corner of Della.
So right now, this is Homewood Road's northern boundary, and then this line here is ours, and we're dedicating right away here to do our road improvements and whatnot on our side to widen this. So this angled line here is open space K for Waterford phases 3 and 4. And if you, I don't think I can go to the plats the way I'm logged in here. But then the second open space is open space C, Waterford phases 1 and 2. That's on the Waterford 1 and 2 record plat, and it runs this line here in between these two. So you have this triangular piece here above the townhouses that's nice and wide right here behind the townhouses, then narrows to here. And then the second, because it was a different phase, I guess, of Waterford, this is open space C, and here that goes past the open space K all the way to the county stormwater management easement. So I'm sorry. So water space, open space C goes all the way through here and keeps going. But there's a easement, the Anne Arundel County public easement that follows that stream all the way up, I believe, from that pond at Angelusy, all the way down to the pond at, I want to say not Brittingham, but maybe Brittingham. I can't remember the subdivision at the bottom. So there's a large existing stormwater management easement that was created probably when the Waterford subdivisions were done.
Okay.
To protect the stream itself, because it's a stormwater conveyance, and it goes all the way down to that pond. Does that
I was
sound?
talking about across Wendella Way and Homewood on where you guys are building. Where is your open space going to be
Our
for
open space is right on the corner.
recreation?
This gray area here,
Uh-huh.
that's shaded, and up top. So where that one tree is, if you've ever been on
Yep,
Delaware Homewood,
Yep.
there's only one
we
tree.
look at it every day.
So that we're preserving that one tree, and from the backs of these lots all the way up to our property line with lot 1R is all open space, and it's right now it's meadow. It's all going to be reforested. And then we have an open space between lot 9 and 8, a big triangular open space area here. And then at the top between our lot 10 and that mansion house lot, we have more open space up here. So all the things you see in gray there, and then we have a large microbiome, but it's not a stormwater pond on the left of our lot 1C. So this gray is open space. All this is open space. This is open space, and this is open space.
Okay, thank you for taking the time to explain that. That makes a lot
No
more
problem.
sense to me. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. Cynthia, or I'm sorry, do you have any more questions, Doug and Linda, before I check with Amy?
I'm good. I think I'm good.
Amy, Cynthia, or Douglas, any more questions?
Hey, this is Amy. I actually do have a couple questions. So the stream, as I understand it, from the step pools, the water will be funneled into that stream, and it'll then continue down to the large pond that's at the corner of Homewood and Breckenridge. Is that right? Or that's on Breckenridge Way?
Breckenridge. That was the name I was looking for. Breckenridge. Yes.
Okay. Do you have any idea what the how much additional water we would be expecting to go through that stormwater pond, and whether there would be any kind of changes or impacts to what we're seeing there?
So it is the same amount of water right now. That drainage area I showed here. Let me go scroll down a little bit again and see if I can find that drainage area map. The water is coming there now. It's just sheet flowing over land and creating that erosion. So there's Breckenridge. Let me just see if I can get myself oriented here. I apologize. There's Homewood Road. So the pond is right here where he says water, right there. And so this is the overall drainage area to that pond now. We're not changing it. We're just picking it up. So it no longer is sheet flowing from our site and across the edge of pavement and creating that erosion. We're picking it up and piping it and building these step pools. So we're not increasing the amount of water to the pond. We're just treating. Treating is probably not the best word for it because we're capturing it, but we are right now. It's causing erosion both on the backs of these townhouses on Waterford and in this area of open space woods. We're picking it up and now stabilizing how it gets to the stream, but we're not increasing the drainage areas to it. I'll double check my numbers here and then I'll include that in the meeting minutes. But we're basically just taking an area that right now is sheet flowing and causing erosion and picking it up and building an erosion a system to help, a step pool conveyance system to help prevent that erosion and repair it.
Great, thank you. That makes a lot of sense. And then I know, I believe it was Linda who had asked questions a minute ago about Homewood Road. And I know that at the meeting last February or March, I'm not sure whether it was you who was speaking or somebody else.
I think it was Kevin Lusby. Well, I've been in every meeting. Kevin Lusby from Coke.
Okay.
Did a lot of the talking in the last couple of meetings.
It may have been Kevin Lusby. But I was curious because I recall the conversation then about just how complicated it was with so many different equities on Homewood Road, and that somebody had said at the time, oh, it should be no problem to consolidate those and have the county pick that up. And I'm just wondering if something has changed, or if that ran into unexpected roadblocks, if you had any insight into that.
It'd be probably better for Kevin. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here tonight, but
okay.
I would say the simplest answer is you've got 3 different HOAs. Our new HOA that we would create, which right now has no members other than our owner, and the 2 other HOAs for Waterford and for the Estates of Aisquith Farm. There's a lot of legalese that has to be worked through on who's maintaining what and where. And Kevin has been working with Jim Praley, his attorney, to try and work through those issues. We as engineers, I think our design has pretty much been the same for a little while here, but I get the impression there's been a lot of meetings that with attorneys that I wasn't called in to be a part of, which is okay with me, to kind of work through the legalese that needs to be worked, and easements. When you're granting easements to build this step pool through community association property, it's one thing if we had to ask an adjacent property owner, can we cut an easement through, and somebody's, how much is it worth to you? But in this case, we've got HOAs involved here, and we've got an existing eroded issue that we're trying to help resolve. And it just takes a lot of, and I'm sure, I have no idea if the HOA presidents are the same as they were when we started in 2016. I think on this, when we didn't have schools and we were on a 6-year waiting list, but I'm sure that's what's complicated.
Okay, thank you. I think that's all I had.
Okay. Cynthia? Anything from Cynthia? How about Charles? Well, Charles, you just joined. I'm not sure how much you know. How about Doug? Let's go back to Douglas Griffith. Doug, do you have any additional questions now that I've gone through answering Doug and Linda's questions?
Yeah, I have one more question. I don't want to take up too much time though.
And you can call me. Anybody can call me at the office if you want. If you think something else.
It's a quick question about the reforestation, the forest loss mitigation.
Okay.
I think it's great that you're reforesting that meadow. I don't think it's a very high quality meadow over on the Coke Home side of things.
This is that reforestation plan.
Yeah,
pretty full.
Was there ever any discussions about giving the Waterford community some trees as part of the mitigation to replace some of our trees that we've lost in our community?
To the tornado?
Yeah, or just to age, disease, anything?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, we're doing the planning, but I don't know if Mr. Lusby and the HOA presidents have had discussions to that effect, but they haven't brought it to my attention. I'm gonna say
Okay.
that. Lisette, the lady that was in 787-9562.
Yes, that was Carla Gibbons.
Do you have any questions, ma'am? Hopefully I didn't put her to sleep.
This is Linda. May I ask one more question, please?
You can ask multiple questions if you'd like, Linda. How can I help?
No, so you said you had some photos. Could you share some of those photos maybe now that we can see exactly what I think I have a better understanding than I did before. I think you guys are doing.
Afraid he's gonna drop. That's why
He's afraid it's going to drop. Okay.
Lisette, any
He
chance
hopes he drops. No.
if I stop sharing, Lisette, any chance you can try and share those?
Yes, are they in the? I guess they're in the meeting
The
file.
community meeting folder.
Yes.
I just
Linda,
think that might help folks understand a little more that are on the call, and maybe they can see I think I can see what you're talking about now, and I feel a lot more at ease. I'm more worried about the cost in later days and any kind of assessments that could be applied to us in Waterford. I guess that is one thing that does bother me, but we'll have to work that out, I guess, with our own homeowners.
Hey, Linda, I'm going to share a link in the chat box too to the county's SPSC design manual, so you can kind of see what a finished product would look like.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks, Douglas.
Thank you.
And I want to say when Homewood Road comes out to Riva and you cross over and go, I can't remember the neighborhood. I believe there's some step pool design further up that way as well. I can.
Okay, can you see that?
So yeah, we can. I can. Can everybody see that? Can everybody see that? Oh, good.
The photographs, great.
So this is coming. This is inside the woods at Homewood Road. It was pouring down, raining when I was out there, and so you can see the water's path on that picture, heading towards the stream. And then as she clicks through these, hopefully it'll let her. You may just have to do one at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's serious water.
Well, I have a
one of those-
video that I can see if she can try and play once she. So this is
Now you're
continuing
getting really brave.
and then that's where it really starts to erode.
Wow.
Down, and then you can see all the laid down trees in the distance from the
Yes.
tornado. And there's an old RCP reinforced concrete pipe just sitting out in the woods. I don't know if that was from Waterford's development that never got put in or whatnot. But it's a pretty heavy cut now as you get the further you go into the woods. And then once you get down near the stream, it flattens back out and you can't even see a cut because it's so flat. But where it's steep up here at the top, it just started eroding right at the top of that picture or the bottom of that picture there, and then just got deeper and deeper and deeper. And then you can see the devastation from the tornado, and you can see, if you go here in the summertime, you couldn't even see the sunlight, the blue sky. But after all that tornado took down all those big trees down there, and I think on the first picture you can see, or second picture, you can see a root ball from one of the trees laying right there. That's a root mass of one of the trees that was down
Yes.
in that area. And then Lisette, if you go to the pictures, if you go back to Explorer for a second and go to the pictures folder, the general Drummoyka pictures folder, and site invest. Let's see, hold on a second. I believe it was 2000 Homewood Road 322, or I'm sorry. I have a great video. I'm trying to figure out where it is. It's 32421. I'm sorry, back up one. 32421, halfway up, right above bad. Yeah, those two files. So click on that and see if it'll play. So that was during a stream, and it's going slow. but you can see where those pictures came from, and then it's a really slow video, I guess.
It's okay.
Click
it's
on the
cute.
other one, Lisette. There's two different media.
Certainly.
Oh,
I don't know why I can't get rid of this one.
okay. But we
this
got
is
the
a
we got
townhouse.
the yeah we got
We've
the
got the gist
yeah we
of
got
it
the
for
gist
sure.
of it. Yeah,
This is on Homewood Road,
right.
and you can
Yeah.
just see the water coming down Homewood Road, and then it just keeps, some of it goes in and turns the corner right here, right there, and goes. That's where it starts the head cut, and then the rest of it goes down to the bituminous curve, and then ultimately stops there. But that's
where
where
we
it
live.
starts, right
We're
there.
right, yeah, and you're right about at our house over there. So
Yeah.
right.
And so you can see all this old pipes that just got left from somebody's development, obviously.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys can use them.
Maybe we're supposed to use on
No,
water,
you don't want to
never
use
built.
those.
Yeah. So that's on
No.
on a heavy rain day.
Yes, indeed.
All right. And then so the actual little 15-inch pipe is like right there.
Yeah.
That's supposed to convey all that water across. But it just never it's basically more water goes across the road than not. Thanks, Lisette.
Certainly.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, they were great. Thank you for sharing those.
I got a design question for you.
Okay.
Are you going to be incorporating woody debris into the step pools?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Are you going to be incorporating woody debris into the step pools for habitat value?
That's what the last few that we've designed, we've had old stumps and stuff. I don't know if they've chosen a contractor yet, but we can definitely work. Right now, we've been trying to get this whole subdivision approved, and I'm sure they're going to send it out to bid, Doug.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know if they had a contractor in mind yet.
I mean, that's what you see in this. Oh, I'm not sharing anymore. Hold on a second. Sorry, got ahead of myself there. That's what you see in the standard, debris in the standard design. Is there supposed to be woody stumps, and the ones that I've worked on in the past, they have. Yes.
Yeah. I didn't know if they had a contractor yet.
They don't. I mean, we've been working on just getting these agreements and
Gotcha.
trying to get permission to do this easement for a while now. Oops. All right, so I think I've hit everybody's questions except for Charles. You joined late. Is there any questions you have? Lindsay, Amy, are you finished? Or you have any more questions? Or Linda? Is it Linda?
Linda, but I think I'm good. I'm waiting.
We're good.
We're good. I think.
Charles is still muted, but I'm assuming he doesn't have any questions.
He dropped off.
Okay. It said Indiana, so it may have been an accidental virtual meeting for him. Or he's on vacation and he wanted to check in. Oh, no, he's still there. I'm sorry. From Napa. I guess that's Indiana. Okay. Well, if everyone, hopefully I've answered your questions. We're going to put together some meeting minutes. It's going to take a little while because we've been talking for about an hour now. But hopefully in the next 3 to 4 days, we'll put together meeting minutes and email them or mail them out to everyone.
Can I get Cynthia Miller's email address and mailing address for the county record?
Can you type that in the chat, Cynthia?
And the same with Charles. Are you there?
Nope, she went back on mute. Anybody know Cynthia that's currently with us?
I'll go through the mailing list. And
Yeah,
see
we
if I
know
can
Cindy.
identify.
We know Cindy. We know
Oh,
Cindy.
okay.
So if she's on the mailing list, then I guess we've got it. But okay. Well, otherwise, then I'm going to stop the recording and we'll get these meeting minutes out to everyone as soon as I can.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank